Tonight on News 5 Live, a pair of elderly siblings in Belmopan comes forward as victims of a home invasion that allegedly netted thieves, including police officers, $250,000. Shine throws his support behind Cornell Lovell ahead of Belmopan's Standard Bearer Convention. And it's Culture Tuesday. We'll introduce you to the only Belizean winemaker. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. Smart, your full-service communication provider.
It's time to ring in the new year with some awesome savings from Samsung. Start the new year right when you take advantage of the lowest prices on all Samsung phones, starting as low as $339, or tablets starting at only $399. The full Galaxy lineup includes the A03, A04e, A13, A23, A33, A53, S20FE, S22, S22 Plus, S22 Ultra, and the newly released Galaxy Z Flip 4 and Z Fold 4. Shop with a peace of mind knowing that your Galaxy device is backed by a 1-year warranty only when you shop. Save and secure your device at Samsung's authorized resellers countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, and Odette's Home Center. So this year, ring in the new year with an awesome device from Samsung.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800-A-WAY-OUT or our cell phone number, 672-9628.
Join us for an engaging and inspiring service from Sagebrush Church that the whole family will love. Each week, you will have the opportunity to take part in amazing worship and learn how you can make your personal relationship with God a priority. Watch us on TV, stream us online, or visit us in person at one of our 8 physical locations. Go to sagebrush.church or download the Sagebrush app to find locations and times to watch.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, January 10th. I am Sabrina Daly. $250,000 in cash. That is what two elderly brothers are claiming they lost during an aggravated burglary in Belmopan. The 80-year-old and 75-year-old siblings from Belmopan had just arrived from home working their farm on the night of October 14, 2022, when a group of armed men barged into their home demanding money. After death threats were hurled towards the elderly siblings, they handed over a duffel bag containing $250,000 in cash. The culprits then made good their escape. It was not until yesterday that the men visited the Belmopan police station to file a formal report in which they identified the alleged perpetrators. Several of them are police officers. News 5's Paul Lopez takes a closer look.
80-year-old Candido Martinez and his brother 75-year-old Sergio Perez are farmers. They live in the Belmopan area of Belmopan inside a wooden structure with a partition to divide their quarters. All of Martinez's belongings are inside this cramped space: a small bed, a clothesline, a couple chairs, a table, and a few kitchen utensils. They share an outdoor kitchen. But these unsuspecting siblings have been keeping a secret that got out and brought them face to face with death.
Lo que pasó fue que nosotros fuimos a trabajar. Bueno, cuando venimos, mi hermano estaba descansando él en una sillita que está adentro y estaba yo en la hamaca. Entonces vinieron a las 7:30 de la noche, entró Ramón Alemán con el hijo, que es policía en el Valle. Entonces entró Eliseo Varela y el primo que tienen allí. Ahora el otro policía, no doy residencia porque no lo conocí, no lo conozco.
Martinez and Perez reportedly kept $250,000 in cash inside a duffel bag in Martinez's room. That is until a group of men, allegedly consisting of police officers, stormed into the house on October 14, 2022, and demanded that they hand over the money.
Vinieron el 14 de octubre de este mes que pasó. Fue a traer el hijo y entraron a hacer asalto en hallamiento de morada aquí en mi casa. Nos manearon y nos dejaron maneado, embrocado, y mi hermano maneado de las manos y de los pies. Sí, entonces me dice Jonathan, ¿a dónde tenés el dinero? Dinero no hay. Sí, le digo yo, no tengo dinero. Tú me vas a entregar el dinero ahora, porque a matarte hemos venido. Ahora, oyendo esas palabras, yo me quedé sospechado. Entonces, digo yo, pues tengo que decirles, tenía yo el maletín. Debajo en un sillón que tengo allí, tenía mi ropa, una chamarra encima, tenía toda mi ropa ahí tirada sobre el maletín. Entonces le digo yo, pues allí está, le digo, si quieren llevarse el último, allí está. Le dije a Jonathan, el hijo de Ramón Alemán. Entonces dice, Entonces dijo Eliseo, amenazarlo, le dijo a muerte para que te digan dónde tienen el dinero, ¿sí? Entonces no me quedó más que decirle dónde estaba el dinero y agarraron, tiraron toda mi ropa. Entonces jalaron el maletín, lo rompieron y vaciaron el dinero ahí enfrente de donde yo estaba tirado, maneado como garrobo, ¿sí? No podía hacer nada.
Martinez and Perez visited the Belmopan police station on Monday, almost 3 months later, to make a formal report. They reportedly left the country to El Salvador the day after the incident because the perpetrators told them that they would be killed if they told anyone. But they have since returned to Belize and they agreed to give us an interview so that their horrific experience becomes known to the public.
El dinero eran $250,000. Con $18 que tenía mi hermanito, sobre de mi dinero, ¿sí? Y lo quería yo para comprar otro terrenito por no meterme a problemas con ellos en el terreno que me han quitado. Aunque tengo perdido un doble dinero, porque para él soy víctima, ¿sí? Para él soy víctima, así como me ha dejado sin dinero, sin comida.
So, how did two elderly men come across $250,000 in cash? And why did they not deposit this money into the bank?
Yo he venido a trabajar aquí en todo ese caserío de Belmopan. He trabajado yo haciendo mis ahorros para tener mis centavos como pasar mi vida. Yo no he venido a robar ni a hacer asaltos. Yo he venido a trabajar, a sudarme las gotas amargas para tener mis centavos. No he puesto dinero en el banco, ¿sabe por qué? Porque Belice, como les he explicado cada rato, ¿verdad? Belice ha sido un Belice honrado, nunca, porque mi casita es bien humilde, nunca me ha tocado venir un asalto en hallamiento moral como total me hicieron estos individuos.
But, if they kept the cash a secret, how did the culprits find out about it? The persons that Martinez is accusing of committing this crime are known to him. He says prior to the incident, he attempted to buy a piece of land with their assistance, but the deal went sideways when one of the perpetrators placed his own name on the land papers. A tearful Martinez told us that since his money was stolen, life has been hard because he now has to live off handouts and the little he gathers from his farmland.
Yo no sé cómo darían ellos. Ellos me decían que dónde conseguir terreno, el dinero para comprar el terreno. En esa bulla estaban, sí. Y totalmente me vinieron a quitar el último centavo que yo tenía para mantenerme.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
We reached out to police for comments on the aggravated assault and the allegation that police officers were involved. We did not receive a response up to news time. We will continue to follow. The Belize Police Department turned to seasoned attorney Dickie Bradley to carefully review a set of files pertaining to former woman police constable Michelle Brown's alleged involvement in the death of Farid Ahmad. It did so over the weekend after much public pressure was brought to bear on the department to reopen an investigation into the alleged involvement of Corporal Elmer Na, who, Brown testified in court, was the triggerman that shot the well-known barber on the night of December 27, 2017. Bradley was tasked with poring over 170 pages of witness statements and other information presented as part of the case against Brown. At the end of that extensive reading, Bradley, an experienced criminal lawyer, determined that there wasn't enough evidence to suggest that Na was involved in Ahmad's death. But his findings weren't enough to convince opposition leader Shine Barrow that the matter should not be revisited in court. This afternoon, Shine countered the position taken by Bradley, as well as Commissioner of Police Chester Williams.
I wouldn't expect that a case file from an era that persists today of systematic corruption to produce a set of evidence that would call for sufficient proof of wrongdoing, which is what you asked me the last time that we spoke. You said, well, what is your solution? And I said, well, you need to start in the department, because how can the DPP prosecute cases if the investigation is compromised. So to say that the Commissioner of Police is offering the case file, what would we expect? We don't know how much evidence has been tarnished, has been destroyed, because we see a culture where Corporal Na and others have been facilitated, enabled, and have gotten away with all types of crimes. This is a pattern. So what we would expect from the Commissioner of Police is to open a new investigation, which is what he said he would do initially. Then he said, well, I'll let you look at the old file. What would we expect from the old file? That's from the old government, and we have a new government with a new Minister of Police who used to say that there was rampant corruption in the police department from the minister down. And so we expect new eyes, new minds to wrap around and uncover everything, piece it all together, and present a new case to the DPP to charge Mr. Na for the murder of Farid Ahmad.
According to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, the witnesses who cooperated with the investigation into the accident that killed Farid Ahmad testified in court that there wasn't a third person inside the sports utility vehicle that night. He says that testifying to the contrary, all these many years later, would only call into question the credibility of these witnesses.
At this time now, if we were to say that we're going to open another investigation, who are we going to interview? The same people we already interviewed, because those were the only witnesses that were there. And if it is that we were to interview them again, and we're going to say to them now, well, you know what, I want you to change your evidence that you gave to now point out to Na, or point to Na, then we would be perverting the course of justice. Again, if we were to record new statements from them, in which they implicate any other person other than Ms. Brown, or to the effect that other persons were in the vehicle other than Farid and Ms. Brown, which would be contrary to what they had given, and we were to act on the basis of that to arrest somebody, they will have absolutely no credibility in court. If a matter of fact, they have testified in the previous trial and said certain things. So they'll now go to another trial and say something to the total contrary to now bring in a third party. It makes absolutely no sense. So that is where we stand with the matter at this time. If it is, I maintain the position, if it is that there is anybody out there other than those persons that we have interviewed and recorded statements from who may have seen something totally different, then we welcome them to come forward, and we are willing to look at what they have to say.
In the murder of Michael Williams, who was also shot and killed in the Belmopan area of Belmopan on December 27, 2022, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams initially told reporters that his death was believed to be drug-related. On January 3rd, he also told reporters at a press conference that the department believes that the same suspect who shot and killed the Ramnarace brothers may have also been the person who executed Williams a few nights earlier. So where are investigators with that case? That's what the leader of the opposition is asking tonight.
Is there any connection between the previous murder in Belmopan, Mark Williams, and what transpired on Saturday night?
We believe that they're connected, yes, that the same perpetrator did both of them.
In the matter involving Michael Itza Williams and the fact that he was slain in Belmopan on the 27th of December, charges have not been brought against anyone, notwithstanding the fact that the Commissioner of Police had mentioned that perhaps Elmer Na is a suspect or a person of interest who would have been involved in that matter.
He said he suspected that it was the same perpetrator. And again, I call on the Commissioner of Police to take action. Open the investigation to Farid Ahmad, put everything together again with a special investigative body that is beyond reproach. Follow through. If you think that Corporal Na Again, his words. Is the same perpetrator. Okay, where are we with that? I would ask you to call him after you finish with me and ask him where are we with charges being laid on Corporal Knapp for the murder of Michael Williams. We have to take action.
Coming up, the tourism sector comments on the shooting death of American tourists in San Pedro.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some." One of the great lessons I have learned in Belize has been flexibility. I've learned to work with what I had, to adapt to power shortages, plane schedules, work schedules, and to broaden my circle of friends to include some who may not be as strong in some ways as I am. I suppose I've learned to bend without breaking and not become so rigid that I become frigid or cold. We all need to learn the lesson of flexibility. I read the story of the famed architect Frank Lloyd Wright, who had the daunting challenge of designing Tokyo's Imperial Hotel. No such project had ever been attempted. In a land of earthquakes, Wright planned carefully. In preparation for the foundation, he discovered 8 feet below the ground surface lay 60-foot bed of soft mud. He decided to float the great structure on this mud and in some way make it absorb the shock of the earthquakes. Skeptics jeered and ridiculed the project that took 4 years. However, soon after its completion, one of the worst earthquakes in 52 years struck, bringing down homes and buildings, but the Imperial Hotel stood tall, as it was able to adjust itself to the tremors of the environment. How flexible are you? May we learn from the Apostle Paul how to bend without breaking. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Todo beliceño merece tener una conexión de internet de calidad, rápida y confiable en su hogar. Para clases en línea y trabajo desde casa, es la nueva forma de vida. DigiNet es el proveedor número 1 de servicio de fibra óptica, impulsando la transición digital de Belice. Y ahora nuestro servicio de DigiNet es aún más accesible con nuestro nuevo plan de entrada. Por tiempo limitado, tú y tu familia pueden disfrutar de 20 megabits por segundo por solamente $49 mensuales. No más clases perdidas ni reuniones virtuales interrumpidas. Te está costando mucho tiempo y dinero. DigiNet es mejor que cualquier opción de cable o servicio inalámbrico. Visita cualquier Digistore hoy y suscríbete para la conexión más rápida y confiable de Internet para el hogar en Belice. Ven a ver lo que te has estado perdiendo. El mismo servicio de fibra de alta calidad, rápido y confiable, ahora a un precio aún más bajo. Para más información, visita www.livedigi.com/DigiNet. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Environmentally degradable plastics, or EDP, are plastics that are affected by a combination of environmental conditions that cause the plastic to break down within an acceptable time frame. They are specifically designed to degrade into carbon dioxide, water, and other biomass substances. The level of breakdown can vary based on standard test methods appropriate to the plastic. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Creamos un concepto que denominamos quirófano santuario no COVID.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
The three-way race for the Garden City is several weeks away, and tonight, UDP party leader Shine Barrow has come forward to announce that he is throwing his support behind former Chief Executive Officer George Lovell. As you would know, John Saldivar has been cleared by the UDP's National Party Council to participate in the upcoming Standard Bearers Convention against businessman Emil Torres and retired Colonel Lovell. Barrow is leading an offensive against Saldivar, who has been designated by the U.S. State Department as a significantly corrupt individual. According to Barrow, despite his attempts, he could not convince Torres or Lovell to step aside and allow for a two-way race.
So it was my undertaking to convince one of the two, Mr. Torres or Colonel Lovell, to join forces so that the Belmopan people could rid themselves of the shadow and ghost, the UDP, Belmopan, the UDP could rid itself of the ghost of John Saldivar. I was not able to get either one to agree that they would step aside. Thus, I had to determine who I thought was the best to turn the page from significant corruption. And to me, that can be no one other than Colonel Lovell, a decorated military officer, a former public servant, a former CEO, unquestionable character, a distinguished career of service to this country. These are the types of candidates that we need all over the country. These are the types of candidates that the Belizean people expect the opposition to present to them if we are serious about reform, about rebuilding and regaining the trust of the Belizean people.
Less than 2 weeks ago, on New Year's Eve, American visitor Jabria Michelle Bowens from Indianapolis was vacationing in San Pedro and Berger Field along with her family when she was shot dead. The incident occurred near the Central Park, and the nursing student was not the intended target of the shooting. The killing of a visitor at the country's prime tourist destination went viral, and it is not without its impact. A few properties reported cancellations in the wake of the shooting death. Today, we were able to get comment from BTIA President Stuart Crone and Tourism CEO Nicole Solano on the incident, albeit isolated.
Safety and the security of our tourists are out. That's the highest thing on our priority list. Whenever a visitor comes to Belize, their safety is of utmost importance to all of us, to everybody that's welcoming them. Any situation like that, that is, whether it is one or multiple and it's tragic, it has an impact. So indeed, these things do impact on the tourism industry, and we take every single one of them very seriously. Immediately, you know, we do a lot of interaction with the police department, with the tourism police. We try from a tourism standpoint to help as much as possible, to support with the security forces, and to make sure that they have as much resources as they can to operate and to monitor and to maintain the safety and security. There will always be impact because every single situation like that, you know, it goes. The information is shared, and you know, the whole world can hear what is happening, and people might become concerned whether or not they're in that situation. The truth is that all destinations face some level of security threats toward, you know, towards travelers. There are isolated incidents that occur in destinations throughout the world. We're no different, but we have to do everything we can within our power to make sure that these kinds of things don't happen, because they do impact significantly on our industry.
Crime, particularly the very unfortunate and very just horrible shooting at San Pedro, is something that's very much on the mind of the industry. But you know, crime is something. The crime situation in Belize, it didn't come overnight, and it's not going to be solved overnight. But if it was an easy thing to answer, we wouldn't have any crime. What is difficult, but as an industry, we have certainly worked with the police and with the government for years and years on this issue. And you know, one crime does not define a situation.
Despite the black eye associated with the tragedy, last week CNN Travel listed Belize among the top 23 destinations to visit this year. It speaks to the ease of traveling to the jewel and tourists being able to experience both marine and terrestrial attractions. The article reads, quote, "Lush rainforests, cave networks, winding rivers, and rich Maya archaeological sites invite exploration in a country that's had an evolving sustainable tourism master plan since 2012, unquote. CEO in the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations says that the recognition comes as no surprise to the industry.
Are you surprised that Belize is one of the top 10 destinations? I'm not surprised at all. You know, Belize continues to be a hot destination. Everybody wants to travel here. There's a lot of buzz. A lot of the reason for that is when people come, they enjoy themselves so much, and they go back and they talk to their friends. You know, it's not enough for us to say it's good. When the tourists and the guests and the visitors come, they have to experience that and be able to communicate that. And that is how we get these kinds of recognitions.
The final figures for the 2022 tourist arrivals will be released in the days ahead. But at the Belize Tourism Industry Association AGM today, stakeholders were talking about the boom that they had experienced during the end of the year, which we all know is the peak of the high season for tourism. One hotel in particular reported that it is the best they've done in several years. CEO Nicole Solano of the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations confirmed that tourist arrivals did not surpass the 2019 pre-pandemic figures, but properties did generate higher revenues.
We are very pleased with the entire the year 2022. The performance for the industry was very good. The actual number of travelers who arrived in Belize in 2022 were not as high as 2019, but what we are seeing is that revenues are higher. So you know, the properties are actually able to maximize revenue opportunities, even though the numbers are less. And that's good because we want quality over quantity, right? And we have to be careful about, mass tourism and too many tourists. So if we are able to generate the revenues from less numbers, then that is a good thing for our destination and in line with our sustainability goals. Belizeans that live abroad that come home that want to experience Belize. With all the buzz that's happening out there, Belizeans who are abroad are very proud. They're excited to hear Belize and see Belize in such a positive light that they themselves want to come home and be tourists in their own country. So there's a lot of opportunity and definitely the tourism stakeholders, the hotels, the operators, all of the sites and attractions, they are ready to continue catering to Belizeans who live here and those who live abroad. We are at the highest point of the high season or coming off of that after the holidays, and things have been very positive throughout the country, and I keep on hearing a lot of very good feedback. 2023 looks good. The projections for business in this coming year is also very positive. So the work that we do today is really what is going to impact us.
One of Belize's oldest allies has come forward with assistance for hurricane victims, as well as to help upgrade the protocol fleet at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The government of South Korea, which shares 35 years of diplomatic ties with Belize, has provided hurricane aid in the form of a check worth $200,000 for the vulnerable class that suffered the most damage during the passage of Hurricane Lisa on November 2nd of last year. The money complements the government's ongoing humanitarian assistance to families through direct cash transfers, coordinated by the Ministry of Human Development. As was mentioned, the 4 vehicles for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will be used to facilitate the work of the Foreign Service and protocol units. Korea's Senior Secretary for Policy Coordinator and Planning, Sung-Min Jang, handed over the gifts to Minister of Human Development, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, and CEO in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Amalia Mai, respectively. Following the handing over, the officials shared a few words to mark the occasion.
I feel privileged to be here to donate this 4-vehicle fleet to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Immigration of Belize. This is a symbol of our 35 years of friendship. In addition, as a responsible member of the international community and a friend to Belize, Korea is supporting the recovery efforts of the most affected victims by Hurricane Lisa. A cash transfer of US $100,000 is to provide timely and effective humanitarian assistance to the people of Belize. The Republic of Korea will remain committed to working together with the Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs of Belize, and the World Food Program to this end.
We want to thank you very particularly for the support of this Hurricane Lisa cash relief program. We also want to acknowledge the World Food Program. The program has already started. There have been a number of recipients already, and if we can continue, it is only a good thing. So thank you very, very much. We have had much assistance and many great partnerships, including the partnership from our friends in the Republic of Korea. And we are extremely, extremely grateful.
We have the chairmanship of SICA for the next 6 months. We have the first delegation arriving this weekend so that the vehicles will be put to very good use in transporting our visitors. And beyond the 6 months, we have a very active foreign ministry. And so this will assist us and go a very long way in treating our visitors the way we should.
Senior Secretary Sung-Min Jang held meetings following the ceremony with Prime Minister John Briceño, Minister of State and Finance Chris Koyi, CEO in that ministry Narda Garcia, as well as CEO in the Ministry of Economic Development and Investment Dr. Osman Martinez, and Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Luis Sabanet. There was also a separate meeting between him and Governor General Dame Froila Salam. After the break, Berger Field almost complete. Prime Minister shoots for goal. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
You have been a safe driver all your life when an unavoidable accident happens. But this does not mean that your insurance premium must increase. With RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, safe drivers will not lose their no-claims discounts because of those minor, unavoidable accidents. For more information on RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, contact us at 223-5734. When it comes to motor insurance, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
With the most comprehensive assortment of products and the many types of decorating methods available in Belize, CGI continues to be the leader in the printing, embroidery, and signage industry, catering to every person and business. Whether it's a personalized gift for that special person, promotional items for those promotions or giveaways, t-shirts for schools and businesses, advertising banners, and directional signage, we can print it all. With our manual and automatic screen printing equipment, we can deliver any size order on time. Digital printing on different outdoor media substrates at 200 square feet per hour. Let us deliver full-color banners, stickers, and vehicle wraps at the highest quality in a timely manner. Polo shirts and blouses, office uniforms for male and female, caps and other apparels are embroidered with our own embroidery equipment that delivers only the highest quality stitch by stitch. Our sewing department is fully equipped to sew jerseys, solar long sleeves, bags, gaiters, PE pants, among other apparels. So whether you need a rubber stamp, business cards, a personalized laser-engraved mug, trophies and awards to recognize achievement, or useful promo items such as pens, bags, bottles, t-shirts to help in creating brand awareness, CGI is truly your best reliable choice. Managing all the printing methods in our facility allows us to have control over your order from beginning to end. Our core value is to offer the best service in the industry, delivering your order on schedule with a rapid turnaround time. CGI, providing useful products that promote. In Orange Walk, 322-2282. In Corozal, 422-0151. Online at www.cgipromos.com.
Time to wake up. Time to prepare for the day. Time to learn. Time to make a difference. Time to look after yourself. Time to see your healthcare provider. Don't let cervical cancer stop you from unleashing your potential. Now is the time to get vaccinated. Now is the time to get screened. Now is the time to end cervical cancer. For more information, visit us at www.paho.org/endcervicalcancer.
Berger Field is a location where many of Belize City's past football talents were realized. In the 70s and 80s, the field was one of the main venues on the south side where people gathered to watch official matches between the best teams, or where neighborhood players went to hone their skills on the pitch. But gradual deterioration and lack of maintenance discouraged the youth from continuing to use the field, and it simply degenerated into a wasteland. But now, Pickstock Area Representative Anthony Mahler took on the project to transform the area into a brand new football pitch, fit for future football stars. Prime Minister John Briceño, a former footballer, tested his skills ahead of its opening in the coming weeks. News 5's Marian Ali has the story.
The tradition of yore, when youths met at the historic Berger Field on Vernon Street to play football, and when families gathered to cheer them on, is one that will be revived. The infrastructural work was commissioned less than a year ago, and Prime Minister John Briceño was on hand recently to tour the facility where some of the country's future football stars will meet to practice.
This is what we need to do more in the city, especially in the south side of Belize City, where we have limited playgrounds. More of this sort of young people, instead of hanging out on the streets, they can come out here to play.
The project was spearheaded by Minister of Tourism Anthony Mahler, who is also the area representative for Pickstock. Mahler was attending a meeting in southern Belize when the Prime Minister conducted his tours, but the PM shared how the project got off the ground.
It's his brainchild. He was the one that sourced the funds to be able to get this done. I'm told they're spending close to about $450,000 for this work, and obviously you could see that there's great value for money. They have to take out a lot of muck and the mud and so forth to get to a firm ground, take out the clay, so they have to do a lot of filling.
The facility will include a series of bleachers and stadium lights, 2 concession stands, the proceeds of which will be used to invest in maintenance of the field. The project is a major transformation from what was left to deteriorate at the location over the years. In 2012, former Minister of State in Sports, Herman Longsworth, pledged to restore the field to its former glory, but fell short on that promise.
Berger Field was a mess. It was muddy, it was abandoned. I mean, when it rained, it got full of water. And here we have now something where our young people can come and have fun. And this is what our government is all about, to be able to transform some of these areas, find ways how we can transform the lives of our young people, not only through education, but also sports.
As a former footballer himself, the PM attests that sports holds an important role in helping to mold one's character.
You build that kind of friendship, you learn how to cooperate, you learn how to be able to team spirit that you build. These are important in building true character in our young people.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Crooked Tree is one of the oldest Creole villages in Belize. But while it has its historical features, it also has its challenges. Naturally low-lying, the village's lagoon acts as a basin in the rainy season. So when the rains are incessant, flooding becomes a problem, and parts of a reconstructed causeway can be impassable. But over the past few months, the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, already swamped with deteriorating streets and roadways from before Hurricane Lisa, has been upgrading the causeway. Prime Minister John Briceño toured several projects in the Belize district last Friday. Crooked Tree was one of them, starting from the roundabout and all the way into the village. He shared what is the plan for the village.
I was most impressed because what Minister Spot has been doing by carefully managing the finances for this road they've managed to save enough money to fix the entire road into the village. Approximately 2.4 miles is going to be lifted, a section is going to be lifted about 5 feet from where it is right now with the filling, with fill, and also it's going to be paved. The last mile was not going to be paved simply because that area will be needing a lot of work, and quite likely we may have to build a causeway because of the water, how the water runs, and the ground, the subsoil is very soft. So that would take a little bit more of studies, and even looking at the connection between the Crooked Tree Lagoon and the Northern Lagoon in the Orange Walk district, and they were pointing out to me that these two are connected, but in some instances that the water from the Northern Lagoon flows into Crooked Tree Lagoon and creates even more flooding. So they're thinking of even maybe having to put a dam there to control the flow of the water. So that was very exciting. And of course then I went to visit the museum that they have at Crooked Tree, and I found out that in the Crooked Tree they found evidence of people living there even before the Mayas, like about 10,000 years ago. And to me that's like, well, I didn't realize, and first time I heard about that.
The roads in southern Belize have also needed to be upgraded, and the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing has been trying to keep up with not only the heavy rains, but resurfacing the roads quickly enough and in time for smaller vehicles to reach from point A to point B. But the constant rains and use by heavy-duty trucks transporting landfill and gravel or bananas have not helped the condition of the road. So on Monday, the first day of school, the bus that takes teachers to the school in Trio Village, Toledo, could not pass. That forced the closure of classes for the past 2 days in that village. But today, Chief Engineer Lennox Bradley assured that they have been out redoing the road surface and that by Thursday, students and teachers will be able to have classes.
We do have those heavy trucks bringing out produce, and the weather condition has not been helpful. We do have the resources to try improve the roads in the entire Toledo districts, because if you recall, we had 11 roads that were in terrible conditions the latter part of last year. We had 3.5 million committed towards that. We engaged contractors, various contractors to be out there. Those contractors are still out there because the weather is not cooperating with us. Every little dry break that we have, they try to keep the roads accessible. Similarly with the Trial Road, the weather condition and the continued use of the Trial Road has brought it to where it is. We have about around 2 sections in particular along that village road. The first section is about a quarter mile in from the Southern Highway. That really is terrible. And then we have another section closer to the village. That's roughly about 400 meters. The first section is roughly about 200 meters. And in between, of course, you do have your little ruts and potholes because of the continued usage. We have mobilized. We started mobilizing equipment from yesterday. And those equipment are still out there. Certainly by tomorrow, we should have that road accessible, fully accessible. So we are going at it with everything that we have. In fact, we have invited the private sector, the private contractor to join us to try bring that road under control.
But the road conditions interruption of classes for these past 2 days will not require teachers to make up for lost time with the students of Trio Village. President of the Belize National Teachers Union, Senator Elena Smith, told News 5 today that the time can be recovered during the normal course of the semester.
A lot of times these teachers, do these morning classes and evening classes, where they help their children anyway. So for me, I don't see that it's an issue where there would have to be an enforcement of any makeup time for the 3 days that will be lost. I'm sure that that ministry is swamped with all the areas who need roads, that kind of thing fixed. But I think we have to, as you said, because of the crowd, we have to pay attention and see how we can maybe get those persons who use, or those companies who use that road constantly, to assist with some of these repairs as well, because if the repairs are done, as the roads are being damaged, then it may not get to this point. So I think it's a matter of not just the ministry, but also those companies who make use of that road, who should be assisting with that as well, because at the end of the day, it's our students who end up suffering.
When we return, Miss Universe Belize is letting her light burn for Belize at the 71st Miss Universe competition.
What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom?
Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. We realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
The same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases, such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need to help before it's too late, Mom. We can't let it get worse. What can I do? We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in CARIFORUM, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
I like to be outdoors, to meet people, to talk to people, and get feedback from them, because that's when you get a good understanding as to the work that you're doing as a government. And I was most impressed because what Minister Spot has been doing by carefully managing the finances for this road, they've managed to save enough money to fix the entire road into the village. Approximately 2.4 miles is going to be lifted, a section is going to be lifted about 5 feet from where it is right now, with the filling, with fill, and also is going to be paved. The last mile was not going to be paved simply because that area will be needing a lot of work, and quite likely we may have to build a causeway because of the water, how the water runs, and the ground, the subsoil is very soft. So that would take a little bit more of studies, and even looking at the connection between the Crooked Tree Lagoon and the Northern Lagoon in the Orange Walk district. And certainly value for money is there because we're saving monies from the highway to be able to do this work. I went to visit the museum that they have at Crooked Tree, and I found out that in the Crooked Tree they found evidence of people living there even before the Mayas, like about 10,000 years ago. And to me, that's like, well, I didn't realize, and first time I heard about that. And I want to encourage Belizeans to go to the village, to visit the village, and also to be able to see the museum that they have, because it speaks of a lot of the history, not only of Belize, but of the area, the Mayas, and also the Creole population where they came in doing the chicle, doing the lagwood. It's very, very interesting, and I urge everyone to go to visit.
Get your body sculpted with gym equipment and accessories from Benny's. Quality and savings.
The 37th annual general meeting of the Belize Tourism Industry Association was held at the Biltmore Plaza Hotel today. It was an event used to reflect on the accomplishments, as well as the shortfalls of 2022 and a plan for the year ahead. Industry stakeholders were present for the event, and News 5's Dwayne Moody was there to capture the dialogue. Here's his report.
The Belize Tourism Industry Association has been able to grow its membership to over 240 and counting. These properties within the industry include, but are not limited to, restaurants, mom-and-pop businesses, or even luxury boutique properties. And while coming out of 2 years of surviving the pandemic, there are concerns around building the resiliency of the industry.
It's our first in-person AGM in more than 2 years during COVID, so it's always really nice to get people physically in the same spot and really network a little bit. The concerns coming out of COVID have to do more with the rebound in tourism, okay? It's the industry is back on its feet, but that doesn't mean that the industry is not without its problems.
Those concerns were not falling on deaf ears, as those in attendance from the Ministry of Tourism and the Belize Tourism Board were engaged in the discussion, responding to the issues as they were being shared by the stakeholders.
It's important for us to come and to listen and to hear what the issues are on a regular basis. We have communication with them, so today is no different. Indeed, I think generally the tourism industry is very pleased. We've gotten quite a significant amount of positive feedback in terms of how well things are going with business. We need to look at what are the gaps for 2023? We do have a slow season still, so we're looking at September, October. What can we do to make sure we have higher traffic in those months and next high season and beyond? No?
Among the many issues discussed were accessing agricultural produce, the poaching of human resources from the industry to BPOs, and the need for better access to properties.
Tourism is impacted by so many areas within government and so many other ministries within government. So it's very important for us at the CEO level to be able to communicate and interact on all of these matters. So our minister has established a tourism advisory council that includes the CEOs from the ministries that are most relevant. All ministries are relevant, but some are more relevant and have a more immediate impact than others. Agriculture is one of them. Infrastructure development with roads, and there are several, the blue economy and civil aviation. All of these have direct impact on the tourism industry. So we do work closely with them to try and make sure that when there are issues, we can iron them out and have them resolved easily and quickly, and also planning for the future so that we can avoid issues before they occur.
During today's AGM, Stuart Crone was re-elected as president of the BTIA for another term. So what's the plan for the industry?
The plan is to make a plan. I mean, I think something that has characterized tourism is that the industry has grown kind of in spite of itself. Belize has always been very lucky in many ways, but you never know when your luck is going to run out. So one of the things that I emphasized in my address was the need we really need to find out what we want. We need to plan and we need to figure out what we want. Otherwise, we're going to get stuck with what we don't want.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Miss Universe Belize Ashley Lightburn is set to take the stage at the 71st Miss Universe preliminary competition on Wednesday in New Orleans, Louisiana. Lightburn has been with the Miss Universe delegates all week, attending a number of events. And today she engaged in what is perhaps one of the most important aspects of the competition, her personal interview with a panel of judges. To learn more about how the competition is going and what Miss Universe Belize's experience has been so far, we spoke with Janelle Fraser, a former Miss Universe Belize and the current Miss Universe Belize's chaperone. Here's what she told us.
Ashley is very competitive, if you guys may not know. She's very small, but she's very, very competitive. She's very headstrong. And I think when you're in an environment where majority of these girls are winners, they won their pageant in their country. And so you have to go with the mind frame that it's a competition. I'm competing against winners just like myself. And she has that competitive drive about her. But also, she's the only mathematician. I'm a pageant fan, and I do not recall ever hearing a mathematician advocating for math. And so that in itself stands out for her. And so I'm hoping that she uses it to her advantage and we can finally get the placement that we deserve. I have been going to a lot of events, but today was one of the most important days for her. It was her personal interview where she talks about her bio and how she stands apart from the other women. And tomorrow is the preliminary competition. So this is where they will showcase their dresses and their swimsuit, and combined with the points from preliminary and interview will determine who will make the top 16 on January 14th.
Up next, the story of a Belizean turned winemaker.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSB, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank contactless MasterCard debit card. Introducing our standard debit and MasterCard Platinum debit cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
You would have heard the buzz around a sparkling wine that was made through partnership between Winesmith Belize Limited and Stigda Artists. Itravu was launched in the U.S. and Belize at the end of December. But in tonight's episode of Culture Tuesday, we sit down with Belizean winemaker Joseph Smith, who is on a mission to educate folks back home about the artistry behind winemaking. Dwayne Moody reports.
Meet Belizean American Joseph Smith, better known as Flinkaz. He's the winemaker behind Wine Smith Limited Belize, the only Belizean winemaker in the world. Smith has over 25 years of experience and produces wines that are sold across the U.S. and Belize. He's also the owner of JSL Wines, a family brand, and he's the head winemaker for the award-winning Clinker Brick Winery in the U.S.
I migrated to California in 1996. Just like most Belizean seeking greener pastures, you know, Belize could be tough, especially for someone that wasn't going down the right path. A consulting winery firm. What that did is we actually helped growers or farmers that have excess grapes and didn't have a home for it. We would help them and turn it into wine, and then we would then help them sell it. So we would be that guy that guide them through the process. So I would travel all over California now, drive in from Monterey, from far south, all the way to far north. And we would contact all these little small growers or wineries that wanted to just break into the wine industry on another level. So that's what we did. So I gained a lot of knowledge traveling to all the different wine regions within California. So that made me almost a household name in California, where a lot of people, after about 10 years, people start seeking my advice.
Joseph says that along with his team, he opened a location on the Bullet Tree Road in San Ignacio, Cayo. There you can find 16 different types of wines made by him, for which Belizeans and tourists alike can go to have a wine tasting experience.
It's not just a business that I want to open. I want to make it almost an educational facility. I want when people come here, they experience wine and they learn something a little bit more than when they came in. And that's what we are doing here at Winesmith. So you might be shy, you might be not comfortable with it. I want you to know you are welcome at Winesmith anytime, and you will get an experience, you will learn something. That's a guarantee. That's what you get from Winesmith. That's a guarantee. We're different than most other wine room. That's the difference with us. We're education first and then wine second. The beauty of these products is every single product is made by me. I make every single one. So I personally have an attachment. They personally have a connection to it.
You don't necessarily have to be a wine connoisseur for you to appreciate your products, right?
Exactly. I think we make product to match palates, because like I tell people, I can deep dive and make a product that every sommelier is going to be amazed with it. And they're going to love it. But then am I making it for him, or am I making it for my public, for my people? And so that's where it gets conflicting, you know. So you try to thread the needle between both. I want to make sure the guy right off the street that walks in there can enjoy something. And I want the guy that knows everything about wine to come in and says, your products are good.
So what's the process for winemaking? It's a time-consuming process, as Smith explains.
The process for white wine is from grape to bottle. Just the process itself is about 8 months. White wine, depending on the style of white wine, but most white wine is about 8 months. Red wine, the process is almost 24 months, so 2 years. Because the white wine usually have an aging process into it, right? Some of my white wines, I do have an aging as well. But the growing, so we go from springtime, which will be March, is when the vineyard starts to bud again. It starts blooming. So we go from bud break, we call it, from March to somewhere in August. That's when we're taking care of the vineyards and the fruits coming in and all that. That's from that time to that time, right? August to the end of October, that's harvest season. So that's when we start bringing in the fruit, digging it off the vineyard, bringing it into the facility. That lasts about 2.5 months, right? Now, once it's in there, it's a non-stop process because it's every day for 2 months. And then after the reds are harvested and turned into wine, then it takes another 18 months in the barrel for the reds. So we age it depending on the type of oak you want and all that stuff. Then we age it for another 18 months. Within that 18-month period for red, I am tasting them every single month, tasting almost on a regular basis, tasting, making sure they're developing the way I want them to develop. Once I think they've reached their peak, that's when I decide, okay, I think this is ready to go. And then we're going to put it in a bottle.
In 2022, Winesmith Belize Limited partnered with Belizean artist Stig the Artist to launch Etrevous, French for be seen, a sparkling wine to add to its collection. It is registered and being sold in the U.S. as well as Belize. But what's next for Smith?
We might make something that's probably not going to sit on a menu for the style of wine that these are. But we might make something that makes every Belizean proud, and when people come and try it from outside, they'll be like, I did not know you could make this caliber of wine. And I think that's my next goal, is to create something from here.
WineSmith Belize products are located in supermarkets across the country and in some restaurants. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.